Alright guys and girls, I am making my white chocolate raspberry cheesecake. There's a few ways of doing this. This is the way I do it. There's a plethora of recipes online. Cooking's about experimenting and having fun. My instructions, many ways to do this. Play with it. Have fun doing it. Things you're going to need: 1.5 cups of Oreos or whatever brand you use with the cream removed. It's about, if you get the normal size things, it's about 2.25 sleeves. I use a little more so my crust is a smidge thicker. 1/3 cup of butter melted. I nuke it. A cup and a quarter of white chocolate chips. This could be done in a few ways, or you could use baker's chocolate is what I use. You can put the chocolate chips on the bottom of your springform pan after you make your crust and shove it in there. Make a nice layer. Then put your batter in, or you can melt it and put it in your batter and mix it in as you go. That's the way I do it. No wrong way. Just if you're using chocolate chips, be careful when you nuke them. If you don't use a double boil method, they will burn. I'm talking about 15 to 20 seconds in the microwave. Stir it, let it rest, stir it again, nuke it another 15 to 20 seconds, stir it. You should be good if you're melting it. I like double boil method, but I was experimenting today and I burnt my chocolate. I used chocolate chips and burnt them. You're going to need 4 8-ounce packages of cream cheese, softened room temp, 1.5 cups of sugar, a 3/4 cup of milk, 4 eggs, room temperature. They mix better when they're at room temperature. You're not going to hurt it. Cup of sour cream, non-light. Use a regular sour cream. Oh, and the same with the cream cheese. Don't use the light stuff. Doesn't do well. A tablespoon of vanilla. Now I use real vanilla, and when I mean real vanilla, vanilla beans dropped in vodka, thrown in the sun. 3 to 4 vanilla beans. That's real vanilla. No artificial sweeteners, none of that crap. Real vanilla. 1/4 cup of flour and a 1/2 cup of raspberry preserve. You can use the seedless kind, or you can use the seeded kind. I like the seeded. I like this stuff right here, and a little bit of water mixed in. I like this right here because it actually has raspberries in it. Some people don't, some people do. I happen to like it. Now, you're going to take your Oreos or whatever you're using, decream them, put them in a bag. I use a Ziploc baggie and a trusting rolling pin, and have at it. After I get that done, I mix in my melted butter. I put it in my pan. Get my nice crust made. I throw it in the freezer for 10 to 20 minutes. While that's in the freezer, I'm making my filling. Oh, I'm also heating my oven to 325 degrees. Now, we're going to make the filling. Many ways of doing this. I'm using mixer with this end attached, or you can use hand mixer. Nothing wrong with that either. It get mighty tiring using the old school wire whisk, but it is done. So what you're going to do is, in the bowl, you're going to throw your cream cheese and the sugar in there. Mix it till it's smooth. Clumpiness is gone. You're looking for the consistency of, I want to say mayonnaise, but a little thinner than that. But that's the consistency you're looking for. When that is done, you're going to blend in your milk and your eggs at this time. So what I do is I put my milk in while it's turning, and I'm doing 1 egg at a time. That way I don't get any solid yolk clumps that get missed. I'm doing 1 egg at a time, let it get mixed. I throw another one in, and so on. Then I add my sour cream, vanilla, and flour till it's all done. Now, when that's all done, I'm pulling out my crust from the freezer. Now this is where you can have fun. You don't have to do it this way. You can do whatever way you want. Take your filling and pour it in your pan. Now what I like to do is put it in my pan half the way up. Put my raspberry filling in, and I'll take a knife and I'll show you how to do this. And I'll swirl it in, then I'll put in another layer. You can do it, you know, 1/4 inch, you know, half all the way up. However you want to do it, it's up to you. There's no wrong way of doing it. Or you can do it at the top and just have like 1/4 of the way down. Like I said, experiment, see what you like. So this is how I do it. Put a little bit in. And yes, cooking is a mess. I've already taken my preserve. I added a little water to make it a little runnier. That's on you and how runny you want it. But what I do is I like to dollop. Yeah, I use big words, dollop. This is a little thick yet, but it doesn't matter. And just keep playing with it. Have fun with it. Cooking's experimenting. So let me go get a knife because I forgot one. Knife. Then you just swirl it in. And if it's all done, like I said, there's no wrong way of doing this. You can make swirls, you can make squares. And when done right, you should also be seeing air bubbles come out. When you see air bubbles, pop them. That'll help keep your cheesecake from cracking. If you pop the big air bubbles, I mean, you're always going to have air bubbles because it was in your blender. So, let me get my stand here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Hopefully I don't drop it. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it's swirled in there. And my cheap stand is doing its own thing. Now we're going to get, let me readjust this. I'm going to get some more in here. Fill it in. You want to do circle motions. You do not just want to pour it in. Get some more of your raspberry preserve. Now this is where you can get creative, and I need to add some more. Get some more water. And you just mix it in. Now, if you use without the seeds or this, it's a little easier to mix. So you're just mixing it in. No right or wrong way to do this. And this video is getting long. So you take it and you just do little lines, make it look pretty. This cooking is all about presentation. If it looks bad, if it tastes bad and looks good, it'll still in people's brains think it looks good. And as you can see, it's starting to no right or wrong way to do this. Oh, that's a little wide. And I'm watching football at the same time. I watched Ohio State win today. I'm hoping Michigan, MU, loses because they're playing Indiana. They're the hated team. Even though I'm an MSU fan, I am not a Wolverine fan. So, got that in. Take your trusty knife. Just make designs. Just like so. And as you're doing this, you will see air bubbles coming to the surface. And if you want some more at the edge, you just start dragging it to the edge and it'll stay. And I learned from experience, make sure you have your spring form pan locked, because I got halfway over to my stove once and I didn't make sure it was set correctly, and I had played heck trying to get it cleaned up because it went everywhere, all over my kitchen. And it's snowing out today. Beautiful day, snowing. So I'm going to put you guys on hold. What we're going to do at this point is we're going to go shove it in the oven at 3 1/4 for an hour. Now, when your hour's done, turn it off. Do not take it out of the oven because we're going to let it finish cooking in the oven. Just going to let it naturally come down to coolness, or come down to temp. And then you're going to put it in the fridge tonight, minimum of 3 hours, preferably overnight. So that is what I am making today. So I hope everybody tries this. If not, like I said, there is enough recipes online to make your own, or online about this, but this is my version of white chocolate raspberry cheesecake. Now this is where it gets fun. When you're all done, because I'm not going to post this video till tomorrow, I'm using dark chocolate, 78% cocoa, and I am going to, if you want to get fancy with it, you can make curly Q's and put it on the top. I use a cheese grater and make like a fine powder with it, and I'll sprinkle that over the top of it when it's done, and I will garnish with fresh raspberries. My grocery store had a clamshell. It was expensive, but it's worth it, and that's about it. I will show you, maybe, when I'm done with it, what I'm talking about. So we'll play it by ear, but I got an hour to get this in the oven, and so this is what it needs to look like when it's all swirled in. Looks pretty good. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's kind of hard to see with this camera. So anyway, guys, I'm going to put a link to Shawna Carmacks channel up here, down here in the description. She put a challenge out. You guys should check out that last challenge in her last video. She made a strawberry cake and it looks really good, so I'm going to have to try it. So this is a challenge to her. I am taking up her challenge. So anyway, alright guys and girls, if you hear things in the background, it's football. I crashed my sister's house. You can do your thing. We're watching TCU, or she's watching TCU in Oklahoma. We're hoping for TCU to win. Now, I am grating chocolate to put over top of this cheesecake. I didn't get all the air bubbles out, as you can see. I got some cracking. Many ways you guys can do this. I use a cheese grater and chocolate. I like the dark chocolate. You can use whatever chocolate you like. Then you just start grating. And your amount on what you want is up to you. Careful not to get your fingers. Then you'll have to start all over. And throw this batch away. I usually put it on a piece of wax paper, parchment paper, brown bag. That way I can hold it and pour it over top. So clean off your thing because it tends to stick to it. They're making fun of me. They're whispering about me. So you take your chocolate. The amount you want is on you. And then you just lightly dust the top. I have yet to put this in the fridge. The reason I like the dark chocolate is because it has a different flavor than milk chocolate. This is already sweet enough. I had this in the oven for about 2 hours after it was done, 2.5 hours, just cooling down to room temperature. I'm not laughing at you guys. My sister's in there whispering because she doesn't want me to mess up this video, but I told her I didn't care. And then when I get to my mom's house tomorrow, I will put the fresh raspberries on top. And as you can see, it's not completely cooled because the chocolate's starting to melt, which is fine. So that's how I do it. Microplaner, it works kind of, sort of, sometimes. This is one of those things you have to do over the cheesecake. It does work, it just takes a lot longer. I don't like making the curly cues. I don't have that kind of patience to make curly cues. And it doesn't fall as easy, so you just take it and you can do its thing. Now I don't put a lot on there, I just want enough for presentation and to help take some of the sweetness off from the cheesecake. So that's my video right there. When it's all done, there'll be nothing left. So anyway, guys, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and as always, have a great day. Thank you.